Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we have some pretty big warnings to go and tell you guys all about over here for Final Fantasy 16, and also some kind of not so good news. We also have some pretty big updates though as well for the actual day one patch, which is getting a little bit of controversy, funny enough, and as well as some other little kind of bits and pieces, a little bit of Spider-Man news, and some other kind of cool stuff as well. So let's go and talk about this because we're going to have a fantastic, lovely weekend so far, and as well, if you guys are bored, we'll probably be doing some drinking up on Twitch down below if you guys want to hang out and chill down though. So that'll be linked down below. Same with the Twitter too as well, in case you guys want to rot that stuff on out. If you guys want to follow, and of course subscribe, notifications on Amazon links, let's go dive in the video itself. So as you guys do or do not know, there is going to be a pretty big game coming out pretty soon, known as Final Fantasy 16. And obviously I'm very, very excited for the game itself. I cannot wait to play it. I played the demo up on Twitch, and overall, if you guys want to see any content on the YouTube channel itself, I would love to go and do it. I do kind of feel this game, if it kind of goes and has a lot of, well, I guess attention to detail and love as it did in the demo, it actually might be a pretty good Game of the Year contender. Now, obviously, if the game is absolutely horrendous, 15 hours in, don't blame me, but the demo was really, really fun, and a lot of folks out there who also had a chance to check it out themselves really did go and enjoy the vibe itself. But we actually had one really big warning over here, too. We have two kind of big things that basically go and touch on over here. Number one is that we had a huge announcement over here from the Final Fantasy team, which actually had some kind of bad news. So over here, if you guys see, we had a big official tweet saying, a message from the Final Fantasy 16 team for FF16. Final Fantasy 16. We're aware that a small number of physical copies of Final Fantasy 16 are being circulated. We are in the process of a thorough investigation into illegitimate acquisitions and are acting to limit this ahead of the official launch of the game on June 22nd. So basically, it kind of just means that, say you had a mom and pop store, or maybe someone who got it sent from, say, a Target or Best Buy, or maybe they just accidentally sent to a wrong spot. Maybe a UPS truck was meant to go and ship out a bunch of console games, and they did it a week early for whatever reason, and now basically the game is in the hands of everyone else. And this basically means one really big major thing. Spoilers, early leaks, final bosses, and story leaks and everything else in between. Now, obviously, I'm going to try my best to limit any type of spoilers on Twitter or Twitch or even YouTube itself, because I don't want you guys to go get spoiled, and if it ever was big stuff, I usually do try my best to let you guys know in advance, or, oh, this might be slightly spoilery or very spoilery or whatever it might be. And, well, sadly, I cannot be everywhere, and I cannot protect all of you viewers, etc. So kind of just my really big warning, because this will be a really big PlayStation 5 game, especially with the fact alone that, well, it's one of the big, I think, games of the summer. So please be careful. This is one of my big warnings, because everyone always loves to go and spoil story games. Everyone always loves to be like, oh my god, did you hear what happened to Dumbledore and all this type of stuff. It's never a fun experience, and obviously it is a nice thing to see that the Final Fantasy squad is looking and investigating to see how they can either fix this or what they can do to, well, make sure people don't get spoiled. Then to go and say, for those who receive a copy ahead of launch, we kindly ask that you do not share any aspect of the game, including screenshots, videos, and live streams, until after Final Fantasy has been officially launched. So basically, I want to make sure the embargo is followed, and people aren't posting the end of the game literally 3 days ahead of the time before anyone can even go and play the game. Now, as I'm sure you guys probably know, because you guys have probably been online in general, just always be careful, because people like to go and troll. Whether it's in Twitch streams or tagging people up on Twitter, on Reddit, 4chan, or wherever it might go and be, people always want to go and try to ruin everyone else's fun. So please be careful if you guys can, if you guys do care. It's kind of in my mind a pretty big warning, because I care about this game. If you guys been watching my channel, I've been kind of covering it / talking about it a lot, and I'm just hyped up for it myself. So please be careful online. They say our priority is to ensure that the full game experience is not spoiled. Thank you very much for our fans, and to do that, we'll be taking down any images, videos, or streams published ahead of launch day. So once again, just make sure you guys are careful. They're not going to find everything. Not that they have to. It's just there's going to be there's millions upon millions of videos uploaded every day on TikTok or YouTube. Just be careful. Just be careful for this one. So say we ask for your assistance and cooperation in this final week ahead of the launch. It's almost June 22nd, and we can't wait for you to experience the full game the way the development team intended. And I cannot wait to go play it myself. So I do kind of feel bad for all the devs out there. You never want to have your game have early access out there when people shouldn't have it, or it gets leaked, or animations get shown before people can even see it, or even if trailers get shown a little bit too as well. So my heart goes out to them. I'm sure this game's gonna be phenomenal, and I'm gonna probably keep on doing a lot more coverage for the game itself, because I'm just excited for it. Let me know if you guys are excited, and once again, please be careful. Although there has been a little bit of a controversial thing going on as of now, where for some odd reason people are upset that there's gonna be a day one patch. Now, weirdly enough, I feel like most games out there nowadays typically do have a day one patch, especially because it's like just fine tuning some stuff. And usually game companies are still working on games even a few weeks, few months after the actual official launch for most games, let alone maybe even a few years, depending on how big the game might be. Look at maybe Cyberpunk for a good example. So I'm not really sure why, but this was actually getting a lot of controversy. I saw this up on Reddit, I saw people on Twitter, and I saw people overall kind of saying, like assuming the game might be mediocre if there was a day one patch. Now, once again, I kind of feel like that's a kind of normal thing nowadays for games. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, and if there was any, if they assumed it was gonna be fine, which might have been where the controversy maybe stemmed off initially, I think it's fine. They're just making sure the game's good. I think, like I said, there might have been a little bit of a small baby bit of drama where folks might have been assuming, like, oh, hey, like, they said the game was pretty much good to go and good to launch a few weeks ago, which in my mind, like, yeah, it probably would have been perfectly fine, especially with the demo pretty much being perfect. But when it comes to stuff, like, would you want them not to just be constantly checking the game, especially because the game's not even out yet? It's not like it's like, oh my God, like, it's gonna be like a huge 18 gigabyte patch or something like that. I'd rather them have a chance to go and fine tune up all the issues and the drama or any like optimization, or maybe it's like even a spelling error or even something small, map bugs, like something that might not even affect the gameplay that much, but I would rather go and have the game be like as perfect as I possibly can. So I'm not sure why there was a big controversy on this one myself, but apparently it kind of was. Anyway, so they were basically saying there was a big song and dance about the game that won't actually have a day one patch, which is why I said, like, I think people might have been upset on that regard. I still think it's fine. There's probably going to be patches regardless. There's probably going to be a patch in a few weeks after the game comes out, or let alone the first few days. And like I said, I'd rather them have, like, if they have the spare time now, when it's relaxed and like they basically have it good, this is basically when you have your test already done and you think you did fine and you still have 20 minutes. So you're like, let me go and just flip over the page and double check my answers. And then maybe guess what? Maybe you still found one answer you want to maybe go and change very slightly, but everything else is pretty much good to go. Like, I'd rather still get those extra points, especially if I had the spare time, but that's just me. But there actually is going to be one too. They're saying it's going to be weighing in around 300 megabytes, which once again is very, very small. And they say we'll fix a minor progression issue, a few text errors, and a rare bug that caused the game in a very specific circumstance as well. So, and they also help optimize the performance of the title too, promising a more sturdier frame rate throughout. So once again, 30 megabytes usually will take like under 5 minutes, if even that. And as well as also just for small things. And I'm sure they're going to add and change up more things too. So I'm not really sure why people are upset about this in the first place, but either way, like, well, at least I'm happy it's almost fully done. We'd also have a chance to go into the Insomniac Games did go and confirm that they will not be doing any plans for a demo, which I think is fine. A game like Final Fantasy makes a little more sense because people want to see like the setting and the flow and the UI and all of that. Spider-Man is going to probably be very similar to the very first Spider-Man game, so we don't really need a demo per se. Just going to jump on in and enjoy the actual game itself. But letting you guys know about this one because some people were asking about that. They also do have all the overall list too as well for the FF updates too. On top of that, performing the performance too as well. So from earlier on today, saying they had no Japanese lip sync. It recommends playing in English, whatever your native English is, and using subtitles in your language as English was prioritized, funny enough, for the motion cap. They are confident they will actually enjoy the story too as well. And one big thing is that it was not front-loaded in terms of story and engagement, which is very, very nice. We don't want to have the game be awesome for the first 3 hours and then slog along. So I'm actually very happy they're going to have a pretty good pacing throughout the rest of the game. There will also be more gameplay than was shown in the demo itself. They're also taking performance issue feedback seriously, and they also want to have a 300 megabyte day one patch that we mentioned. They're also going to be addressing motion blur concerns and adding a toggle too as well. It was very nice to go and see that. I think the more options that are toggleable are always better, at least in my opinion. I'd always want to have more options too. They're also going to be addressing the motion blur as I mentioned. They are listening to feedback about button mapping, and so they will provide more button layouts and the ability to remap yourself or both. Always, once again, I do love the customization. Optimized for HDR, recommends using HDR display if you have one. Also very nice to see on that. Bloody Palace equivalent, basically a wave-based gauntlet mode for those unfamiliar. New Game Plus mode that offers new challenges too as well, which is kind of cool to have that on a day one launch, including new bosses, new enemy placements, and new moves on existing bosses, which is kind of intriguing to go and see. Mainly because I think there could maybe be some controversy in that too as well, but I think that's fine, just adding more gameplay, etc. Prologue could also be skipped to as well for New Game Plus, also very nice. And New Game Plus gives you a score and rating based on action performances in the top right. This is also turned turned off in the new game because they want you obsessing over it too as well. I just want you to enjoy the story. And apparently the soundtrack has over 215 songs. So overall, this game is looking phenomenal, and I cannot wait to play Final Fantasy. I hope Square Enix will do very well. I just can't wait to play it. So give me your thoughts and comments. Are you guys excited for the game? Do you guys care about day one patches? Do you guys care about any other type of stuff that we covered all throughout this video? Let me know in the comment section down below. Swing by the Twitch stream and drop a follow if you guys want to, and of course on the Twitter too as well. If you guys are bored, and of course, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on and check out those Amazon links. I'm gonna get some pizza and enjoy the rest of my day. Love you guys.